Ciao, this is Ilan reporting from CNN International. We have been following the conversations in UNEP, United Nations Environment Programme. It is a governing council in the system of the global environmental governance. During the meeting, the countries have discussed about the Millennium Development Goal 7. The goal is to ensure environmental sustainability and is divided into two topics. Topic A is on sustainable development. Topic B is about the access to safe drinking water and basic sanitation. Now let's hear what Ludovica has discovered from the chair and the director of the UNEP Assembly, together with the representatives from the USA and Australia.
We have only one delegate that is experienced, so they have to practice and they have to get well in the rules of procedure.
With the flow we're seeing right now, things are pretty much getting into structure. I think with that flow, we could be on time to cover the whole agenda.
Education is extremely important. We should have environmental literacy from a very young age onward. We should promote economic growth and trade and of course, implement from a very early stage.
Basically, we're in favor of no sanctions to countries who've been polluting too much, because every country has the right to develop themselves.
Jalila has gathered the impressions of the representatives from Central African Republic and Italy. Let's hear from them now.
It is important to create an international monetary fund to help the African Union states.
We want to encourage both the national level as well as at a more local level to increase awareness within the community, how they can create a sustainable community.
Now let's see what Melania, Sofia, Anahit, and Celine have found out from the representatives of the People's Republic of China, Germany, Mexico, and France.
We already have international funds of the UNEP, but we don't have a regional authority that controls the destination of these funds.
Nuclear energy at this time of moment contributes into GDP of most of the countries who are involved in the issue.
That the USA position is good, but they themselves, they didn't agree with it for the past 10 years.
Currently, funds are not allocated in the best manner, and that through a consolidation of these funds, we can better increase the efficiency of any policies that we come to throughout these resolutions.
It is all for today. This is Yang Lan, CNN International. Ciao, see you tomorrow.
Hi everyone, today, the 8th March, we are here at the first session of the General Assembly of RomeMUN. This morning, after the roll call, the delegates have observed a minute of silence for the death of the President of Venezuela, Hugo Chavez. After that, the speakers list has been opened and the delegates have focused on issues like poverty and hunger. So let's have a look.
The tragedy of late President Chavez is huge for the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, but he has left a huge heritage with him, and hopefully in the future the other governments will follow the same lead and continue to help Venezuelans and continue the fight against poverty and in order to reach the MDGs.
Pasquale De Muro, professor at the Roma III University. Today is the International Day of Women, and as you said in the beginning of your speech, it is a beautiful coincidence for you to be here and talk about poverty and hunger.
We can invest more in women for having more food security. So investing, for instance, in nutritional programs for women and empowering women in the rural areas. Regarding, for instance, also programs such as school feeding for for all the primary schools, and especially for girls.
We want to cooperate to empowering women to try to create a microeconomy system for a sustainable economy, and we wish to cooperate especially with the African countries to achieve our common goal.
My name is Ikra Abedin from Al Jazeera. In the room next to me, the Security Council is currently in session, where they are discussing the role of child soldiers in combat. The guest speaker for this topic was Gianfranco Rotigliano. From tomorrow onwards, the Security Council will be discussing the right to self-determination of nations, and the guest speaker in this area was Dr. Maria de Cosla.
I think it is not, in the sense that there is more money needed, more funds, more structures, and this is a limiting factor, of course. Together with that, there are also other factors like security and possibilities to actually do the work in the field. So these are the main problems. But certainly, if we had more funds from the international community, we could do more.
I would like it we be able to achieve equality at the end, and I mean equality between states and people who are economically less developed, but also politically less developed than others.
Today, Al Jazeera met with the ambassador of the Republic of Azerbaijan. Let's see what happened there.
To find the response to these issues is very important in solving all at present existing conflicts in the world. As you see that from the map, many problems, many conflicts between states related to this issue. Therefore, I hope that this forum will help to find among them solution, and it will help find in high-level solution in the level of states.
I'm Ikra Abedin from Al Jazeera. In the room next to me, UNESCO is currently in session. During the course of the conference, they will be discussing two topics. Firstly, to achieve universal primary education, and secondly, to develop a global partnership for development. They had one guest speaker who was Mr. Eugenio Lamesa.
Social business is an idea invented by the Nobel Prize Professor Yunus, and there are a number of principles. The most important ones are that first, a social business is a private organization whose goal is to solve a social problem, for example, in healthcare, environmental issues, or education, and not to look for profit maximization. Number two, the investors do not get any dividend. They just can have back the original amount of money they have invested. Once the original amount is paid back, no more dividends, no more profits. The profit stays in the company.
I'm representing Sri Lanka, and we the Sri Lankans, we have education as a fundamental right in the constitution, and as it stands right now, we are the country with the highest literacy rate in the South Asia. So we consider education to be very fundamental in sustainable development and economic growth.
Australia is deeply involved into education. Therefore, Julia Gillard, our Prime Minister, is really committed, and she was rewarded by the Secretary General Assembly Ban Ki-moon as one of the best government director for education.
We consider that the education is very important for the country, as the fate of the country depends on the education of their people. The United States has contributed a lot in UNESCO education programs and developing the education in the countries such as Lebanon, Paraguay, the Caribbean, and the main issue is that education, primary education, is still an issue in the world, and we're trying to contribute in order to solve this problem.